What's up YouTube? I'm here to do my prediction video for UFC Fight Night shevchenko Valentina versus Carmouche. Let's start at the bottom. The first fight is Veronica, can't say her last name, versus Poliana Vienna. And to me, Poliana just looks better everywhere. I think Veronica, she's 0-3 in the UFC. I don't know how she's still around. I think Poliana, even though she's 1-2, both of her losses were pretty close. I just think Poliana's the better striker and grappler overall, so I think she's going to win by finish in the first or second round. Next, we got Gilbert Burns versus Alexei, can't say his last name, but Alexei should be a huge favorite in this fight. Gilbert's a great fighter, but he's a lightweight, and this fight's at welterweight. And Alexei's a huge welterweight, and I've never seen him with a cardio issue. His takedown defense and striking are both amazing. I feel like if Gilbert could get this to the ground, he has a chance, but realistically, this is just not going to happen. I feel like Alexei's going to keep on the feet and just outpoint him for 3 rounds and win by decision. Next is Rodrigo Vargas versus Alex da Silva, and it's tough because Vargas looks like a decent up-and-comer, but he's a little bit older. He's like 33, 34. And to me, Alex looked decent in his last fight. He lost, but he was fighting a really strong wrestler. I don't think Rodrigo is as strong of a wrestler. I think this is going to be a striking fight for as long as it lasts. I'm just leaning towards Alex. I think he's a little bit younger. He's got more experience, and I just think he hits harder. So I'm leaning towards Alex. I think he wins by knockout in the first or second round. Next is Geraldo de Fuertes versus Chris Gutierrez, and this is kind of tough. They're both good strikers. I think Geraldo's a little bit better overall on the ground, but I think Chris has decent takedown defense. If Geraldo could get to the ground and stay on top, he could get a submission, but I think it's going to be on the feet. It's pretty close, but I'm slightly leaning towards Chris. I think he's going to slightly edge him out. It could go the other way. This fight's probably one of the closest fights on the card, this and the next fight. But I'm going to lean towards Chris. I think he gets a split decision. Next is Rodrigo, can't say his last name, versus Ruelen, and I can't say his last name either. Both these guys are good jiu-jitsu guys with decent striking. I'm leaning towards Rodrigo, though. I just think he's a little bit better at creating pressure. It's really tough because they have such similar styles the way they fight, and they're both equally good on the ground. I honestly don't know, but I'm just leaning slightly towards Rodrigo. Like I said, I think he moves forward more, and I think that's just going to edge him out the rounds. This is, like I said, the closest fight on the whole card, though. Next is Tecia Torres versus Mariana Rodriguez, and Mariana's a good up-and-comer, but I just think Tecia Torres is still too good for her. I think they're both, striker jiu-jitsu chicks, but like I said, I just think Tecia Torres is better everywhere, and I think she's going to win a 30-27 decision. Next is Cyril Gain versus Rafael Nunes. Cyril looks like a really good striker. I know he has like a long kickboxing background. I can't find his record, but I know that he does have one. Rafael Nunes, he's like 9 or 10-0 in MMA. So you can't count him out. Cyril is only 3-0 in MMA. I think Cyril's a little bit more athletic overall, and it's weird. Cyril's younger, even though he's been fighting for a lot longer. Rafael undefeated, but I'm leaning towards Cyril. It's at heavyweight, so you never know. Like I said, 10-0 guy, I don't count him out. 8 of his 10 wins, or 9-0, I don't fucking remember. He either has 7 or 8 wins by knockout, and then 2 decision wins. And like I said, I think Cyril's more athletic and the better overall striker, but you can't count out Rafael. He's also undefeated with a fuck ton of wins. But like I said, I do think Cyril's the overall more athletic guy and can keep it on the feet, and I think his overall striking game is better, so I'm leaning towards Cyril to win by TKO. Next, we got Enrique Barzola versus Bobby Moffitt, and to me, this is basically 2 strikers with some decent jiu-jitsu, but they're primarily wrestlers. And I just think Enrique is the much better wrestler and the much better conditioned fighter. I think his one problem in his last fight was he didn't use his wrestling anywhere near enough. He did towards the end, and that's why he won the last round, but he primarily struck with Kevin Aguilar, who's one of the better strikers in that division. He made a mistake, and I don't think he's going to make that mistake ever again. His strength is his non-stop wrestling. He's like Colby Covington and Usman. I don't know why he didn't do that in his last fight. It was really fucking weird. But that's what he does. He just shoots for takedowns nonstop and just controls people for 3 straight rounds, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think Bobby Moffitt will be able to get up here and there, but I think Enrique's just going to control the whole fight. I think he's just going to continuously get takedowns or control him against the fence and win a 30-27 decision. Next is Roldo Vieira versus Oscar. I can't say his last name. Vieira is this really, really amazing jiu-jitsu guy. He's got like a record of 110 in jiu-jitsu competition. Like 100 wins and 10 losses, and all against his losses are all against amazing guys. You know what I mean? And he's beaten amazing guys. Oscar is a good striker with decent grappling. he's good everywhere, you know what I mean, but his conditioning's not super amazing. Oscar's definitely got the advantage on the feet, but I just don't think it's going to stay there. I think Vieira is going to get this to the ground, win by submission pretty early. You know, he's undefeated 5-0, and I think that's going to stay the same. I think he's going to get it to the ground early and win by submission. Next, we got Volkan Ozdemir versus Ilir Latifi, and I'm just going to be honest, Ozdemir won his last fight. Like, that decision was absolute horse shit. I thought he won at least 2 of the 3 rounds. You can make an argument he won all 3 rounds. I mean, I don't know how he didn't get that decision win. Ilir Latifi, you know, in his last fight, he kind of showed... Both these guys have a similar weakness. They both kind of had not great cardio. But I think Ozdemir is overall better. I think his striking is better, and I think his takedown defense is better than Ilir's takedown offense. And Ozdemir's not going to try to take down Latifi. He's just going to try to turn this into a kickboxing match. And because neither of them have great cardio, they're going to get tired at about the same pace. And I think, like I said, Ozdemir is just going to be able to continue, keep this on the feet and outstrike him. He might win by knockout sooner or later, but I see him either winning by knockout in the first or just winning a 30-27 decision. But either way, I got Ozdemir. Next, we got Luis, I can't say the rest of his name, versus Roberto Brandi. And Roberto Brandi is a decent fighter. I mean, he tends to slow a little bit as the fight goes on, but he, you know, in the first round, don't count him out. He can beat anybody in the first round. He's got good striking, good jiu-jitsu. And, you know, like I said, he can kind of fight anywhere. He just gasses a little bit. I think Luis, though, is better everywhere, kind of. I think that Luis is a really big prospect, and, you know, they're giving him a dangerous fight. Like I said, Roberto's already beaten a couple of prospects. Like, his record's 2-2 in the UFC, but the 2 wins were against guys that I think the UFC had a lot of high hopes for, and he beat both of them. So this could be another one of those situations, because like I said, in that first round, Roberto can beat almost anybody. Like I said, though, I do think Luis is better. They're both kind of striker jiu-jitsu guys, and Luis is better at both, but just don't count out Roberto. But I'm going to pick Luis to win by either second round knockout or submission. Next is Vicente Luque versus Mike Perry, and basically on the feet, these guys are pretty close. I think Luque's just got a little bit better technique. They both have about the same punching power, but the big thing is the jiu-jitsu. I think if this fight's on the ground anywhere, Vicente's got a massive advantage. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to strike for a while. Eventually, Vicente will get this to the ground one way or another. And when he does, he's going to latch on a choke, whether it's like an anaconda choke, a Darce choke, or like a rear naked choke. Like, he just has amazing chokes. Like, that's his thing. He's like the Hani Yaya at 170. You know, he can basically go for any choke in any situation, and he'll probably get it. And like I said, that's what I see happening. I don't know what round he'll be in, but I think sooner or later, once Vicente gets into the ground, he's going to win by submission. Finally, we got Valentina Shevchenko versus Liz Carmouche. I think Liz Carmouche beat Valentina really early in her career, which is kind of why she's getting this fight, even though she's only ranked like number 5 or 6. I think that fight happened before Valentina was kind of at the level she's at now. I get why they're doing this. Valentina needs a fight, and Liz is a good opponent. I just feel like Valentina's way better. I think Liz, you know, when she beat her before, Valentina wasn't probably as well-rounded as she is now. And like I said, I think striking and jiu-jitsu, Valentina's better at both. Liz is probably a little bit better of a wrestler just because she's kind of big. But I don't think that's going to matter. I think even this is on the ground, Valentina's arm bars off her back are better than anything Liz can do on the top. You know, Liz could get lucky and take her back. Like, she almost did that to Ronda. She's actually really good at taking people's backs, but like I said, I think striking-wise and grappling-wise, Valentina's better at both, and I think sooner or later she wins either by knockout or submission. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe.